Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Monday, February the 11th. We have a 9-game Monday slate. I'm going to go through each position, talk about some of the guys that I like on this 9-game slate, work our way through the player pool, and I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo, 5 players that I like specifically for each site. Before we do get started, though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Would really appreciate it. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos that I do upload daily. But let's go ahead and look at point guard today. So we do have 2 options over 10K at this position. You have James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Looking at this slate the night before, I don't really have interest in paying up for either guy. Harden at 12K, just not a price tag I want to pay now that Chris Paul is fully healthy. When you're paying this price for Harden, you want him to get at least probably 65 to 70 DraftKings points. And even if he gets that, really that's not good enough at this price tag. Now that Chris Paul is playing 35, 36 minutes, it's hard for me to pay 12K for Harden. I think he's going to be a guy we're going to just continue to see his price tag drop with Paul healthy. Harden's probably going to be like 11K within the next week or so. So don't really want to pay up for him. Russell Westbrook, I wouldn't mind. Westbrook's been like on a triple-double streak lately. I think he's got 9 or 10 straight games with a triple-double. Been giving you, it seems like, 55 DraftKings points like every game lately. Our floor 55 DraftKings points. It is a matchup with Portland that I don't mind. Fast-paced game. Portland a solid team defensively, but they do play pretty fast. This game should be high-scoring. I guess if I were to pay up for one guy, it would probably be Westbrook for me. I'd probably play Westbrook over Harden. Definitely would play Westbrook over Harden on Yahoo. There's a $10 difference. Harden's 63 and Westbrook's 53. I'd much rather go with Westbrook there, even though they're different positions. But looking at this slate in general and looking at all positions, I don't really want to pay for either one of these guys. I think I'd play like Towns over them, who's 10K. I really like Towns today. Paul George for $1,000 less than Westbrook, I think is really nice. Even if you want to go to Jokic at 10-4. Giannis, great matchup against the Bulls. A lot of blowout potential there, but Giannis could also put up a pretty big ceiling, so don't really feel the need to pay up for Harden or Westbrook. I think there is some good mid-tier plays. Looking in the mid-range, my favorite play here by a mile is Chris Paul at 6,900. Chris Paul is just too cheap today. He's probably $1,000 too cheap now that we're getting 35, 36 minutes out of him. The minutes have started to trend up, and he played 35 minutes in a competitive game in their last game against OKC and had 49 DraftKings points. I would imagine Paul probably plays 35, 36 minutes again if this game is competitive. And at $6,900 on DraftKings, $31 on Yahoo. He's a core play for me today. I do expect him to be pretty popular, but for good reason. Paul should easily put up 40 to 45 DraftKings points. It's pretty hard for him to disappoint you at that price tag now that he's playing full minutes. So love Chris Paul today. He's easily the best play in that mid-range, in my opinion. If you want to pivot off of Chris Paul, who probably will be popular, I would imagine, I guess you'd go to Eric Bledsoe at 7K, who is in a really good spot against the Bulls. I wouldn't mind him. DSJ's price tag started to trend up. He's starting to get really expensive, but he's worth this price tag. The guy's playing big minutes in competitive games for the Knicks. His price tag is also getting up there on Yahoo. He's $26 over here. I know the last few games he's been like $18, $19. He's been really popular pretty much every slate. Now that he's up to 26 and 6,400 on DraftKings, he's not as necessary, but the guy's still giving you a pretty solid floor with the Knicks. He's playing big minutes, 30 minutes last game against the Raptors, 35 against Detroit. Then when they played Detroit before that, he played 40 minutes, 39, 48, and 33 DraftKings points through 3 games this year with the Knicks. Really good matchup here against a bad defense in the Cavs, probably the worst defense in the league. So I guess if you want to pivot off of Chris Paul, you could go to Dennis Smith Jr., but I would probably project Paul for like 6, 7 more points than DSJ. So hard for me to say DSJ is the better play unless you're just looking for a guy that's lower owned. Darren Collison at 6K, don't mind if you want to go there, but don't think he's going to be a core play for me. If we're looking for value here, really don't see any cheap plays that I love at this position. Not a ton of value really stands out to me. Trey Burke saw some decent minutes a couple games ago for the Mavericks, and then Sunday he had a pretty disappointing game. 27 minutes on Saturday against the Bucks and had 35 DraftKings points. And then on Sunday they played the Trailblazers, and I think Burke only played like 15 or 16 minutes. His minutes are going to be pretty hard to predict, so Don't know if you want to go there, unless you're just trying to maybe take a flyer on Trey Burke. I could see it, but you never know if he's going to play 25, 26 minutes or if he's only going to play 14, 15 minutes. Really don't know, so probably would avoid that. If I'm making one lineup today, would definitely not play Trey Burke. Only a guy I would play if I'm playing a lot of lineups. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. So at this position, I do have a lot of interest in Luka Doncic today. 8,700. Now that his price tag's dropped off a bit, I think he's a guy you can play, especially since he has shooting guard eligibility. You can play him at point guard as well, but he has a lot more interest at shooting guard because shooting guard is usually not as good of a position as point guard is, or as deep of a position. In a matchup with Houston, that's not really a matchup I'm concerned with. So at $8,700, Luka Doncic, I think, is definitely a play I would like to go to. I would probably play him over Bradley Beal. They're a $100 difference. I think I'd just take Luka Doncic straight up. But still, Doncic's not really going to be a core play for me. Really don't see a ton of core plays at shooting guard. Guys I feel like I'm going to be really overweight on. I'm going to be playing in a ton of lineups. Really, this position's pretty bad. I think probably the best play here is probably like 5K Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway did start on Sunday. I think he started on Saturday as well. The minutes have been there. 27 minutes on Saturday against the Bucks. The game kind of was a blowout. The Bucks won that game, or the Mavericks, the Bucks won that game by 15 points. Mavericks lost by 15. That was kind of a blowout. On Sunday, I believe Hardaway played like 32 minutes. I think he played 31, 32 minutes and drew the start. So 5K Tim Hardaway playing 30-plus minutes in the starting lineup. Kind of a guy you can go to if you need value. I wouldn't mind him at 5K, but I think that's it for shooting guard value plays. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward now. Talk about this position. So Giannis and PG are at the top here. Giannis is 11-3 in a matchup with the Bulls. Paul George 10-3 in a matchup with the Trailblazers. I love Giannis here. I love the matchup for him. I have a lot of concern that he doesn't play a ton of minutes in this game because the Bulls are just so bad. The Bucks are just so good that this game could be over by halftime. When these teams have played this year, though, Giannis has gotten full run. I mean, he's played 32.5 minutes through 2 games against the Bulls, so he's averaged close to full minutes, average of 59 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Bulls for what that's worth. If this game is a blowout, we're probably only going to get 28, 29 minutes out of Giannis, maybe low 30s. Obviously, in a matchup with the Bulls, he could return value in just 30 minutes just because how bad this team is defensively. Hard for me to project Giannis for like 36, 38 minutes, though, in this game because of the blowout potential. But I still love him on the slate. I think he can put up a ceiling even in limited minutes, even if he doesn't play full minutes. So I do like him quite a bit. Paul George is pretty safe here as well. You would expect Paul George plays probably more minutes than Giannis does. He's probably going to play 36, 38 minutes because this game should be competitive. Paul George has done really well this year against the Trailblazers as well. An average of 58 DraftKings points through 2 games against Portland. The minutes should be there. This game should be competitive, and it should be a high-scoring game. So I like PG and I like Giannis quite a bit. I don't mind paying up for them on this slate, but I think they're still going to be behind Karl-Anthony Towns for me. I think Towns is probably the guy I would rather pay up for if I had to just choose one player. But let's go ahead and look at other small forward options. If you're not going to the top, if we're looking in this mid-range, I really like Jabari Parker today. 5,600 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, he's at power forward. He's $21 over here. Really good play in my opinion. Whether or not Jeff Green plays today or not, I think Parker is a good option. So last game we got 34 minutes out of Jabari Parker in the revenge game against the Bulls. Jeff Green did get hurt in that game, and Parker started the second half for him because Green was out. Green is questionable today. If Green were to sit, we're probably going to get 33, 34 minutes out of Jabari Parker. Even if Green plays, I think we still get about 25, 26 minutes out of Jabari Parker. And this is a guy that can definitely give you a point per minute. He's going to be very productive in his time on the floor. So I like Jabari Parker quite a bit, even with the price tag rising. Even if Jeff Green plays, he should still get enough minutes to where he can pay off his price tag. And if Jeff Green is out, Parker probably becomes one of the best plays on the slate at 5,600. Love him today at small forward or power forward, whichever position you want to play him at. Tim Hardaway at 5K I like if you want to play him at small forward. Cheap plays, though, value-wise, really isn't any value that I love here that I really see. So let's go ahead and move on to power forward. Talk about this position. So you obviously have Giannis and Paul George at the top, who I have talked about already. I do want to mention Kenneth Faried at 6,800 on DraftKings. I like him quite a bit. I like this matchup against Dallas. Dallas is going to be a team that does struggle defensively against centers now that they don't have DeAndre Jordan. They're running Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell out there for 48 minutes. And that's a spot where Kenneth Faried can have a lot of success against those smaller guys. So I do like Faried at 6,800. Larry Nance I want to talk about as well. I think he is a really good play today. At 5,900 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, I think he's a good play as well. At power forward, $25. We've seen Larry Nance's minutes trend up lately, over 30 minutes in 2 straight games, 33 minutes against Washington and 39 minutes against the Pacers. He did start that game against Washington on Friday, where he played 33 minutes, and then I think on Saturday, I didn't play any on Saturday, but I think Nance started on Saturday as well and played 39 minutes. The minutes have been up for him. He's been starting lately, even with Kevin Love coming back. Nance was still very productive. I know Love only played 6 minutes, but I expect Nance is still going to be productive whether Love is out there on the floor or not. Nance is just a guy that can give you boards, can give you points, can pick up some assists as well. We'll get some defensive stats, so hard to avoid Larry Nance today, even with the price tag up to 5,900. In a matchup with the Knicks, it's not as good of a matchup now that they do have DeAndre Jordan, but still like Larry Nance quite a bit, especially on DraftKings and Yahoo. Especially on Yahoo where he's power forward eligible. You don't have to play him at center. And on DraftKings you can do the same. You can play him at power forward. You don't have to play him at center. There are some decent center plays I like quite a bit today. So love Nance in that mid-range if you want to go to him at power forward. If we're looking for cheaper plays though and some value here, I think Mason Plumlee is eligible this position. Yeah, he's 5,800. If you want to go to him, I think he's a pretty good play even with the rising price. Just with Paul Millsap questionable, potentially missing this game, Mason Plumlee is a guy that's going to get 33, 34 minutes if Millsap is out. So you could definitely go to him at 5,800. If we're going for cheap value plays though, really don't see any cheap value plays that I love at power forward. So I guess let's go ahead and move on to center and talk about this position. So I do like the top options here. Jokic at 10-4 you could definitely go to against Miami. Don't mind Jokic, but I do prefer Karl-Anthony Towns over Jokic today. That might be a hot take, but just love Towns here in this matchup with the Clippers. At 10K on DraftKings, at $47 on Yahoo. He's going to be a guy I play quite a bit today. Love the matchup. Clippers are going to be a team that struggled defensively all years against centers. They really struggle when they had Gortat out there. Zubac's not really a good defender either. Now that they have Zubac, he's not that great of a defender. And also Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench is a bit undersized, not the best defender as well. So this is a spot where Karl-Anthony Towns should be able to dominate if the minutes are there for him. If he plays 36, 38 minutes, which he should play if this game is competitive, he should easily be able to put up 55, 60 DraftKings points. I think we get a pretty big game out of Cat. He did put up 52 DK points, 20 and 12 with 2 assists, 4 blocks, and 3 steals. Earlier this year against the Clippers, I think we could see a similar line, if not a better line, out of Cat today. Love him on this slate at 10K. There is a chance that Jeff Teague returns for this game, which definitely cuts down Towns' potential for assists, but he's still a good play. Whether or not Jeff Teague's able to play or not, still like Towns either way. Also do like Drummond quite a bit if you want to pay up for Drummond. He's in a good matchup against the Wizards. Wizards have struggled all year defensively against bigs. Drummond's been playing very well lately. He is up to 8,900 though, which is a pretty expensive price to pay for Drummond. But I think he's definitely worth that price in this matchup, and with how well he's been playing lately. But if you're not going to Drummond or Towns, those would be the two guys I would recommend paying up for. If you're not going to them, you can play Faried in this mid-range, who I do like quite a bit. You could play Nance at center if you want to play him here. I think there is some good value here as well. I do want to talk about Ivica Zubac in that game against Minnesota. On the other side of that game, Zubac did start for the Clippers in his debut, and he played 23 minutes, had 28 DraftKings points, I believe was his line. He had 28.25 DK points in 23 minutes. He's pretty much taken over the Gortat role. He's going to play a few more minutes than Gortat played. Usually Gortat played like 18 minutes a night, and then Harrell picked up the extra 30. I think last game, Zubac played 23. I think Harrell still played 30 minutes. There was about 5 minutes where Zubac and Harrell played alongside each other, which we do like to see. I think Zubac probably plays 23 to 25 minutes on a nightly basis. Depending on the matchup, he could potentially get more than that. This is a spot against Karl-Anthony Towns where maybe we see Zubac play a few more minutes. If Harrell struggles defensively against Towns, we could see Zubac out there for like 25, 26 minutes maybe. So I like him quite a bit. Also, the Timberwolves do tend to run a bigger front court, so maybe we see Zubac and Harrell playing alongside each other for a bit. Just like Zubac a lot here at 4K. Really hard to avoid with how cheap he is, just the upside that he brings at that price tag. I think he's a good play on Yahoo as well. Very cheap over here. Just $12 at center. Definitely stands out to me as a value play you can play at center. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for center, and I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully this video helped you. If you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on Monday's 9-game slate. See you in the next video. Peace.